The Whispering Woods. Part 1, The Invitation. In the heart of rural America, nestled deep within a dense forest, lies a place shrouded in mystery and dread. Known only as the Whispering Woods, it's a place where the trees seem to whisper secrets to those who dare to listen. Many tales have been told about the woods, stories of lost souls and unspeakable horrors lurking within its shadows. But for a group of thrill-seekers, the legends only fueled their desire to uncover the truth. It was on a dark and stormy night when 5 friends gathered around a crackling campfire, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. Among them was Jake, the charismatic leader of the group, always eager to push the boundaries of fear. Sarah, his girlfriend, clung to his arm, her eyes filled with both excitement and apprehension. Max, the skeptic, scoffed at the tales of the Whispering Woods, convinced that it was all just a hoax. Emily, the adventurous one, couldn't wait to explore the mysteries that lay hidden within the forest. And then there was Alex, the quiet one, who seemed to sense something sinister lurking just beyond the trees. As they sat huddled together, the wind howling through the branches overhead, Jake produced a worn-out map from his backpack. It was said to be a guide to the darkest corners of the Whispering Woods, passed down through generations of storytellers. With trembling hands, he unfolded the map and traced a route with his finger, leading deeper into the heart of the forest. "We're going in," Jake declared, his voice filled with determination. The others exchanged nervous glances, but none dared to protest. With a mixture of fear and excitement coursing through their veins, they set off into the unknown, their footsteps swallowed by the eerie silence of the woods. As they journeyed deeper into the forest, the trees seemed to close in around them, their branches twisting and contorting like gnarled fingers reaching out to grab hold. Strange whispers echoed through the darkness, chilling them to the bone. But still, they pressed on, driven by an insatiable curiosity to uncover the truth. Hours passed, and the darkness grew deeper, swallowing them whole. Suddenly, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an otherworldly glow. In the center stood an ancient oak tree, its branches stretching towards the sky like a skeletal hand. And there, carved into the bark, was a message that sent shivers down their spines. "Abandon hope, all ye who enter here." But it was too late to turn back now. The Whispering Woods had claimed them as its own, and there was no escape from the horrors that awaited within. Part 2, The Haunting. Despite the ominous warning carved into the tree, Jake and his friends pressed forward, their curiosity outweighing their fear. As they ventured deeper into the clearing, they noticed strange symbols etched into the ground, glowing with an eerie blue light. Emily reached out to touch one, but recoiled as it burned her fingertips. "Something isn't right here," Max muttered, his skepticism giving way to unease. But before they could retreat, the ground beneath them began to tremble, and the air grew thick with a sense of impending doom. Shadows danced along the forest floor, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. And then, from the darkness emerged a figure cloaked in black, its eyes burning with an otherworldly fire. "You should not have come here," the figure intoned, its voice echoing through the trees like a death knell. Jake stepped forward, defiance flashing in his eyes. "Who are you? What do you want from us?" The figure's lips curled into a malevolent grin. "I am but a messenger, sent to warn you of the darkness that dwells within these woods. Turn back now, while you still can." But Jake was not one to heed warnings. With a determined glint in his eye, he declared, "We will not be scared off by your tricks. We will uncover the truth, no matter the cost." And with that, the figure vanished into the shadows, leaving Jake and his friends alone in the darkness. As they continued their journey, the whispers grew louder, filling their minds with doubt and fear. Shadows flitted through the trees, watching their every move with malicious intent. And then, just when they thought they couldn't take any more, they stumbled upon a clearing bathed in an unearthly light. In the center stood a decrepit cabin, its windows boarded up and its doors hanging off their hinges. But despite its dilapidated state, there was something undeniably alluring about the cabin, drawing them towards it like moths to a flame. "We have to go inside," Sarah whispered, her voice barely audible above the cacophony of whispers. And so, with trembling hands and racing hearts, they pushed open the door and stepped into the darkness beyond. But little did they know, they had just crossed the threshold into a nightmare from which there would be no escape. Part 3, The Curse Unleashed. As Jake and his friends stepped into the decrepit cabin, a sense of foreboding washed over them like a suffocating tide. The air was heavy with the stench of decay, and the floorboards creaked beneath their feet as they cautiously made their way further inside. The interior was shrouded in darkness, illuminated only by the faint glow of moonlight filtering through the boarded-up windows. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and writhing as if alive. But despite the overwhelming sense of dread that hung in the air, they pressed on, driven by a morbid curiosity to uncover the secrets that lay hidden within. As they explored the abandoned cabin, they stumbled upon a series of cryptic symbols scrawled across the walls in dried blood. The symbols seemed to pulse with an otherworldly energy, filling the air with a sense of unease. "What do you think these mean?" Emily asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Before anyone could respond, the ground beneath them began to shake violently, sending them sprawling to the floor. And then, from the darkness emerged a figure clad in tattered robes, its face obscured by a hooded cloak. "You have trespassed upon sacred ground," the figure intoned, its voice echoing through the cabin like a death knell. "You have awakened forces beyond your comprehension." With a wave of its hand, the figure unleashed a wave of dark energy that sent Jake and his friends reeling. They clung to each other in terror as the walls of the cabin began to warp and twist, revealing a portal to a realm of unimaginable horror. "We have to get out of here," Max shouted, his voice barely audible above the cacophony of screams and whispers. But escape seemed impossible as the walls of the cabin closed in around them, trapping them in a prison of darkness. And then, with a deafening roar, the portal burst open, unleashing a horde of malevolent spirits hell-bent on consuming their souls. In that moment, Jake and his friends realized the true horror of the Whispering Woods. They had unleashed a curse that would haunt them for eternity, condemning them to wander the forest forevermore, their screams drowned out by the ceaseless whispers of the damned. And as the darkness closed in around them, they knew that there was no escape from the nightmare they had unleashed. Part 4, The Descent into Madness. Trapped within the confines of the cursed cabin, Jake and his friends found themselves engulfed in a maelstrom of terror and despair. The malevolent spirits unleashed from the portal circled them like vultures, their ghastly forms twisting and contorting in the flickering shadows. With each passing moment, the whispers grew louder, driving them to the brink of madness. Desperate for escape, they searched frantically for a way out, but the cabin seemed to mock their efforts, its walls shifting and changing like a labyrinth designed to confound and ensnare. Sarah's hands trembled as she clawed at the boarded-up windows, her screams drowned out by the cacophony of voices that filled the air. "We have to find a way to break the curse," Emily cried, her voice tinged with desperation. "There must be some way to undo what we've done." But as they searched for answers, they only found more questions, each more terrifying than the last. The symbols etched into the walls seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, mocking their futile attempts to understand their meaning. And with each passing moment, the darkness closed in around them, threatening to consume them whole. As the hours stretched into days, their sanity began to unravel, their minds haunted by visions of unspeakable horror. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and writhing like the tendrils of some unseen beast. And then, in a moment of pure terror, they realized the truth. The Whispering Woods had claimed them as its own, their souls forever bound to its cursed domain. There would be no escape from the nightmare that awaited them, no respite from the ceaseless whispers that echoed through the darkness. In the end, all that remained was madness. And as the darkness enveloped them, they knew that they were doomed to wander the forest for all eternity, their screams lost to the howling winds that echoed through the Whispering Woods. Part 5, The Haunting continues. In the depths of the Whispering Woods, where time seemed to stand still and reality twisted upon itself, Jake and his friends found themselves trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Their minds fractured by the ceaseless whispers and their souls tormented by the malevolent spirits that prowled the shadows. Days turned into weeks, and weeks turned into months, yet still they remained trapped within the cursed confines of the cabin. Their bodies withered and decayed, but their spirits remained bound to the forest, unable to find release from the horrors that haunted them. Sarah's once vibrant laughter was replaced by the hollow echoes of her despair, her eyes haunted by the memories of what they had unleashed. Max's skepticism had long since been shattered, replaced by a sense of profound regret for ever doubting the legends of the Whispering Woods. Emily's adventurous spirit had been extinguished, replaced by a deep sense of resignation to their fate. And then there was Alex, the quiet one whose intuition had warned him of the darkness that lurked within the forest. His once calm demeanor had been replaced by a wild desperation to escape, his mind consumed by visions of the horrors that awaited them beyond the trees. But no matter how hard they tried, there was no escape from the nightmare that had consumed them. The whispers grew louder, their voices filled with malice and spite. Shadows danced along the walls, twisting and contorting into grotesque shapes. And with each passing moment, the darkness closed in around them, suffocating them with its icy embrace. And so they remained, trapped within the cursed confines of the Whispering Woods, their screams drowned out by the ceaseless whispers that echoed through the darkness. For in the heart of the forest, where reality and nightmare converged, there was no escape from the horrors that awaited those foolish enough to seek them out. Part 6, The Final Confrontation. As the days bled into nights and the nights stretched into eternity, Jake and his friends found themselves teetering on the brink of madness. Their minds were fractured, their spirits broken, and their bodies mere husks of their former selves. But even in the depths of despair, a glimmer of hope remained, a spark of defiance that refused to be extinguished. Driven by a primal instinct for survival, they rallied together, drawing upon the last vestiges of their strength to confront the darkness that had consumed them. With grim determination etched upon their faces, they ventured forth from the confines of the cursed cabin, their footsteps echoing through the silent woods. But as they emerged into the moonlit clearing, they were met with a sight that chilled them to the core. Standing before them, cloaked in shadows and wreathed in darkness, was the figure they had encountered on that fateful night, the messenger of the Whispering Woods. "You have lingered too long in this cursed place," the figure intoned, its voice a sinister whisper that sent shivers down their spines. "Your souls are forfeit, bound to this forest for all eternity." But Jake and his friends refused to surrender to despair. With defiance burning in their hearts, they confronted the figure, challenging its hold over them with every fiber of their being. "We will not be slaves to your darkness," Jake declared, his voice ringing out through the clearing. "We will fight until our last breath, for we are stronger than you could ever imagine." And with that, a fierce battle erupted, a clash of wills between the forces of light and darkness. Shadows writhed and twisted, and the air crackled with raw energy as Jake and his friends fought tooth and nail against their tormentor. In the end, it was a battle not of strength, but of will, a test of courage and determination in the face of overwhelming odds. And as the first light of dawn broke through the canopy of trees, the darkness began to recede, driven back by the sheer force of their resolve. With a final cry of defiance, Jake and his friends banished the darkness from the Whispering Woods, breaking the curse that had bound them for so long. And as they emerged from the forest, battered but unbroken, they knew that they had triumphed over the forces of evil that had sought to consume them. From that day forth, the Whispering Woods remained a place of mystery and dread, a testament to the darkness that lurked within the human heart. But for Jake and his friends, it was a reminder of the strength of the human spirit, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope. And as they walked away from the forest, bathed in the warm glow of the rising sun, they knew that they would carry the memories of their ordeal with them always. For in the end, it was not the darkness that defined them, but the courage and resilience that had allowed them to emerge victorious against all odds.
Farewell, brave traveler, as you venture forth from the darkness of the Whispering Woods into the light of a new day. May your path be illuminated by the strength and courage you have shown in overcoming the trials that beset you. Remember, though the shadows may linger, they cannot extinguish the light that burns within your soul. Go forth with hope in your heart, for the journey ahead is yours to shape and conquer. Until we meet again, may your steps be guided by the echoes of your triumphs and the whispers of your dreams. Goodbye, and may your adventures be ever filled with wonder and joy.